Hey, Rick Sayes here. Welcome to another episode of the Outdoor Biz podcast, where I hope to provide entertaining conversations with retailers, brand managers, athletes, executives, and others in the outdoor biz to get their stories, tips, strategies, productivity tricks, and ideas that you can apply and take your career or business to the next level. I recently caught up with Beau Johnston of Living Overland Journal and Toyota Cruisers and Trucks at Outdoor Retailer. We talked about a different element of the outdoor business as Beau tells us about his works with Toyota and the great content his team creates for Living Overland blog. Enjoy. Hey guys, Rick Sayes here with another episode of the Outdoor Biz podcast. We're on the show floor at Outdoor Retailer again. I'm speaking with Beau Johnston from Toyota Cruisers and Trucks and Living Overland Journal. Ben and I have known each other for a while. He's a fellow photographer, and he's got these two great websites and blogs that put out tons of cool content. Welcome to the show, and how's it going?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Busy show. You said you've been slammed all day?
Yeah, I've got back-to-back meetings at, 15-minute meeting and then 15 minutes to get to the next one.
Man, stacking them up.
Yeah.
That's good. And so tell us a little bit about the difference between Living Overland and Toyota Cruisers and Trucks. Toyota Cruisers and Trucks sounds more vehicle-focused, and Living Overland is more lifestyle. Is that right?
Yeah. So Toyota Cruisers and Trucks is an automotive enthusiast magazine that's centered around four-wheel drive Toyota platforms.
Yeah.
And that's everything from, the early Land Cruisers all the way through to the newer, TRD Pro Tundras, Tacomas, and 4Runners.
Cool. Yeah.
And everything in between.
And all the parts. And
we talk about the vehicles themselves, articles on those, plus articles on, the suspension, the bumpers, winches, any kind of modification that you can do to those vehicles.
So do you have a similar relationship with those park providers that you would have with the Mountain Khakis or
yes,
the Hydro Flask, same concept? And do they send you stuff to test and play with?
They do, yeah. So we've been really fortunate. I'm working right now on an article or a tire review for Cooper Tires.
Yeah.
So we've been running their tires on our 4Runner for a year. I've done a couple other tire reviews in the past. CBI Off-Road has been really good to me. They're based out of Idaho Falls, Idaho, and they worked with me to put a bumper on our 4Runner.
Wow.
Warren helped out with winch for it.
And do you do all the installation as well? Or do you
yeah.
Holy cow.
So I have, if it comes to welding, if my friends are listening, you know how terrible I am at welding.
It must work. You're getting that stuff on.
Well, so I usually have a friend of mine help with welding.
Yeah.
Because it does not look good if I try to do it. But yeah, if it's a suspension components, I'll install those. I built a drawer system for the back of the 4Runner.
Uh-huh.
Currently running a Dometic 12-volt fridge in it.
Yeah, I saw those the other day with Andy Portal. He might have had something different. He had a Snowmaster, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
A similar concept.
Yeah.
So we've been running the Dometic for about a year and a half.
Cool.
And then we'll work with, some of the vendors here, manufacturers here at OR.
Yeah.
To work on, tents and sleeping bags and that sort of thing so that we can, come full circle with, folks are going to take their vehicles out.
Yeah.
Use their vehicles. They're going to build their vehicles. And then the husbands are, going to want to say, okay, family, let's go camping.
Yeah.
And yeah, you have a, really cool truck that's awesome and, well built, but you don't have the right camping gear.
Right.
Your wife is going to be miserable.
Right.
Your kids,
you're not going to be able to cook.
Yeah.
And
so that's where those two brands, Toyota Cruisers and Trucks and Living Overland, kind of pair nicely because while Living Overland has some truck modifications and those types of articles, that's really where Toyota Cruisers and Trucks shines because we can focus on those. And there's some overlap. We will have, some outdoor articles in Toyota Cruisers and Trucks. And but Living Overland focuses more heavily on that.
And is your audience 50-50 outdoor versus the vehicle campers, or how does it go?
I would say, all of our readers have some type of vehicle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Whether or not they're the hardcore folks, Toyota Cruisers and Trucks, definitely the hardcore guys.
Yeah.
they're going to be the ones that are going to be doing events like, Hundreds in the Hills, which is a big Land Cruiser event.
Yeah.
They'll be doing Cruise Moab or Rock Therapy or, those types of things where they have locked front and rear and superchargers and big tires and that sort of thing. And the Living Overland is more, a guy in a Westphalia, or they're going to go out, or they've got like an e-camper, or they're just going to tent camp.
Yeah.
And they don't have modified vehicles, but they're still going to like the base of a trailhead or something camping for a few days, doing some day hikes and that sort of thing.
And so we were talking earlier, too, you mentioned that you have dyslexia. How you guys create a ton of content. So you have a team at Toyota Cruisers and Trucks, and it's just you and your wife at Living Overland?
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah, and, it's the dyslexia is one of those things that, I've had to learn how to adapt.
Create some strategies around how to, get content created.
Exactly. And so, it takes me several days to generate, an article for either site, and it's... I'll come up with an outline, and then I'll start working on what the introduction is, and I'll take a break for a while. Then I'll come in, work on another section, and come take another break.
Impressive.
And then over the course of several days, I'm able to pull this together, and that's where having Krista has been a godsend, because she is our Uber tech editor.
Right.
And so she goes through and does all of our copy editing and all that sort of stuff, and she is not afraid to go through and say, no, I don't think this is the right, way to talk about this. And, and, it's been great because she does that for Living Overland, and she does that for Toyota Cruisers and Trucks.
Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you told me you got into outdoors and exposed to outdoor activities and camping as a kid, a little kid. So I still to this day, blame my parents for this weird obsession with the outdoors. My parents showed me a photo of me, and I had may have been 8, 9 weeks, 10 weeks old. That's amazing.
And my parents had taken me camping out in the Owyhee Mountains out south of Boise.
It's in your blood.
And it's in the blood. My dad growing up, was avid in camping. He was a Boy Scout, did a lot of hunting and fishing. He taught me how to fly fish.
Nice.
And, my parents have always been very receptive to, they didn't always understand why I wanted to, just throw some clothes and a sleeping bag in a backpack and just, go traipsing off someplace with my cousins.
Yeah, that's great though. Yeah.
But yeah, it was nice, growing up in the Boise area. You had easy access to fly fishing, amazing fly fishing.
Yes.
Grew up hunting deer and elk in the foothills. And then, it was, I think, nauseating to my parents every year because my birthday's at the end of August. And so I wanted to go camping every single birthday, before we had to go back to school.
So you still do all those activities today? As much as you can?
As much as I can. It is hard to, balance.
Sounds like you can't balance. I mean, you're an engineer as a full-time job. You do both these great content sites that you're slammed. When do you have time to do your own stuff?
Well, like this year, I've been working in Missouri on a project, and so, that was the first 2 months of the summer I was gone. We were able to do overnight trip with friends over the 4th.
No, cool.
But now I'm back in Wyoming for August and September, and
that'll be good.
Yeah, so I'll be able to go camping then. But yeah, it's really hard because we feel strongly about the brand and being able to provide the content and share with people. That
you guys do put out good content, and we'll put links in the show notes to all this stuff.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, show people that it's easy to get out and to explore and eat well and travel to places. And Krista and I we try to take a trip internationally every other year.
Oh, really? Cool.
So we dedicate, 2 weeks in the spring every other year to go someplace. Yeah. So last year we spent 2 weeks in New Zealand.
Nice. And you do the same kind of overland camping thing when you're there?
For this last trip, we did not. We actually had the opportunity to test drive a new Toyota SUV that isn't available in the U.S.
Cool.
So we drove over flew over and ended up spending the 2 weeks driving the Toyota Fortuner, which would be similar to the Toyota 4Runner here.
Okay.
Did that, but because
you get to drive all that cool stuff that's not available here too, right?
Sometimes, yes. In October I was in Hawaii with Toyota to test drive the new TRD Pro Tacoma before it was actually released.
Yeah.
So we try to do those types of things where we leave everything behind, go do something, and it frustrates, whoever travels with me because I have the camera with me. Yeah. I'm writing down notes because I see it as an opportunity to, create more content.
Exactly.
And it's hard to not take a camera with me and just relax.
Yes, I'm the same. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it. My friends are, oh, geez, you got no sign of release. What are you going to do with this one? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But, it is something that, like the first time we went to New Zealand, which was 2012, we hired a camper van and met our friends who now live in New Zealand and toured around the South Island for 2 weeks.
Oh, cool. Sweet.
And that was hard because I've never been to New Zealand. I just want to take photos everywhere I go.
Oh, yeah, but or fish. Did you fish?
At Delta, neglected to put my luggage on the plane in Idaho when we left.
No.
And the plan was the first 5 days of our 16-day trip, we were going to be traveling down the east coast of the South Island. So from Christchurch down to Dunedin. And the plan was I was going to fish for those, 4 of those days as we're just tooling down.
Right.
Mornings and evenings and that sort of thing. And, we arrived in Auckland and we flew from Idaho and we were in San Francisco and we were changing from United to Air New Zealand because at that time they didn't have the partnership. And so we had to get our luggage from the United or Delta and go from there and then check it for the Air New Zealand flight.
That's when you discovered it?
And we're waiting and the carousel's going by and Krista got her luggage and all of a sudden the carousel stops and mine's not there. And we had to go to the little ticket thing and say, hey, where is this? And needless to say, it didn't show up for 5 more days.
Oh, my goodness. What a bummer.
But the second time we were down there, I had a little Tenkara rod company rod.
Oh, there you go.
And took that with me. And even the first trip, I was able to fish for an afternoon later on in the trip. But
so you got a little in. But
I got a little in. I did catch a fish in New Zealand. But I won't talk about how small it was.
At least you caught one.
At least I caught one,
That's good. Yeah, cool. So what percentage of your work would you say is Living Overland related versus Toyota Cruisers and trucks?
This year, it's probably a good 50-50 split.
Okay.
But last year, because we were trying to build the Toyota Cruisers and trucks brand and really put out some solid content, we didn't do any writing for Living Overland.
Gotcha.
We published 2 gear reviews, but the focus was trying to network and meet with individuals and do that sort of thing. And last year's when I took the 4 trips with Toyota and really trying to build that relationship and foster some great content.
Yeah, and both sites are blog and website together in a magazine.
So Toyota Cruisers and Trucks is an online magazine. So we have multiple platforms for it. So, individuals can, pay for a print copy.
Okay.
We do a digital download.
Yeah.
We've got an online version of it.
Yeah.
And then also through our publisher, Shane, he's spent a lot of time and developed our own Android and iOS app.
Oh, cool. And we'll put links to all this in the show notes, guys, so you can check it out.
Yeah, and what's great about kind of what we see that magazine industry going is, everybody's on a tablet, everybody's on their phone reading content. And and we're able to slowly shift away from print to more the digital side.
Yeah.
But it's been great for us because we can embed links. So
Right,
our
right.
advertisers, that ad still comes up,
Boom.
and they can click on that, and as long as they're within cell service or on Wi-Fi,
Right.
it'll take them to whatever product was on that.
Right,
So if it's a brand new ARB bumper,
right.
they can click on it, and it takes it to ARB's website where they have that bumper there.
Yeah, awesome. They must love that better than a print ad.
It's the print is still a lot of folks still want to have that tangible and have that, and that's why we still have it, so that
But I mean, for the supplier, they get traffic to their site specific to that product, as opposed to a print ad. You just look at it, and they may never go to your site.
I don't know that the manufacturers are quite there yet.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Because there's still a lot of like old guard that
Yeah, print's not going to die. It's not going to go away.
Publication has 500,000 subscribers, or we are now in every Barnes and Noble and what have you, and so that still resonates with a lot of folks.
There needs to be a lot of us die off before print magazines go away.
Well, and I kind of in that boat as well. I love being able to go home and in the mailbox is the latest magazine.
Yeah,
I still
look
really
at the
like
imagery,
that.
And I do the same.
But the benefits of having the digital stuff and being able to create a unique URL, so they see that it's coming directly from us, and be able to actually track how much traffic is coming from our magazine, whether it be the digital download, the online, or our mobile apps.
And you can figure out which articles resonate better and all those things. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah,
right.
Cool.
And so that we definitely see that's the the way the market is going.
Yeah.
But on the manufacturing side, it's still a tough sell to get folks to realize that I can link directly to a product.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So where do you think the future of each of these industries is going? What's your perspective on it? Retail is under pressure. Everybody in this building, we've been talking about the pressure that retail's under.
Right.
It's a shrinking and changing by the day, seems like.
I think, and I've asked this question with several of the companies I've met with today, and I think it's going to simplicity. We have, there's been a big push, partially sparked by, tech and that sort of thing, to have really techie stuff.
Yeah.
And now you see a lot of these startup companies, like Topo Designs, that it's really clean stuff, really simple designs, bulletproof, manufacturing, and made in the U.S.
Yeah.
Simplistic, made in the U.S. stuff.
Yeah.
For it being so simplistic, you would think the cost would be less, but you're paying for somebody in the U.S. to do the
wages are higher. The employment cost is higher. Yeah.
So you're paying a premium for those things, but I really see that there's going to be a shift that direction, and eventually, as production increases, you're going to see natural markets are going to change, and the costs are going to come back down.
Yeah. So do you see, we're starting to see a lot of these guys like Tepui Tents is here, I think the first time.
They've been, I think this is their second or third year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're starting to see more and more of those guys come to outdoor retail, which I think is great. I think broadening out the definition and scope of outdoor is awesome. Do you think that's going to continue?
I do. I think, that's being driven by a lot of this idea for like van life and overland travel and that sort of thing. And, I don't know, that's another thing. It is very techy.
Yeah.
Having a rooftop tent.
Yeah.
It's
techy. It's cool. It's functional.
It is. They're really functional. Even Yakima.
Yeah.
This year, actually, I think they launched it at SEMA last year. They've got their Skyrise tent.
Right.
And so you are seeing that, but it's techy, but I think it is simplifying things because it's on your vehicle, it's minimal setup, You've got to pull a cover off of them and flip it out, and you've got your tent all set up.
I was, again, with Andy a few weeks ago. He had some trailer that he was towing. It was amazing how simple that tent was to set up and put away. It's like, holy cow, that's it's one of those, you pull a couple cords and boom, it's popped up. It's awesome, Right. That's good,
And I think we will see more of that, and it may be techie in the background, but it's going to make, your stay in camp a lot easier.
Yeah.
Because, I went camping over the 4th with our friends, and I still have an old, in fact, I was joking, I think that this Coleman tent is 20 years old. And it was one of those things. I bought it. My cousin and I were going backpacking, and I was all I could afford at the time. And it still is functional. But I took that, and it's a single pole, just one arch in the middle, and you stake it down and you put it in.
Works.
And for as nice as that is to set up, my friend Tyler and Michelle, they pulled up in their Land Cruiser, pulled off the cover of their rooftop tent, grabbed the ladder, pulled it out, and tossed their sleeping bags in.
Wow. That's simple.
Yeah.
That's nice.
And it makes, the overall experience, more enjoyable for the average person.
Totally. I agree. Yeah.
You're sleeping in a tent. You've got, the padding in the beds are phenomenal anymore.
Andy Palmer had a queen-size bed, I think, in the back of that thing.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And our other friends, they bought a CVT tent, and, it's a family of 4. And so mom and dad sleep in one side, and it's actually a partitioned 4-person tent, and the kids sleep in the other.
Perfect. Yeah. Nice.
So, it's, that sort of thing is really nice, and it's making, even though those are being sold at a premium, it's making, that sort of trip more accessible.
Yeah, you can be a lot more comfortable. You're right.
Yes.
Yeah. So, do you have any suggestions or advice for folks wanting to get into any of these industries?
As far as, the media side, the biggest thing that I see and that I really try to do and promote is I'm not here to ask for free stuff. I believe strongly in the organization as a whole, and I want to see more people go and experience camping and experience travel and travel in the U.S. and internationally. So look at it more as how can I help grow the industry and not what can the industry give me.
Well said. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, very good. And how can people find you?
So I'm on Instagram and Twitter as Beauverland. So it's BeauVerland.
Okay, we'll link to that.
And so on Facebook, Twitter, you can find us at Living Overland. That's all together. And then just Google Toyota Cruisers and Trucks magazine, and you'll take us right to our website and our Facebook and Instagram.
And we'll link to that. And you mentioned the dyslexia. I won't ask you about books, although you said you listen to books.
I do listen to books. Yeah, when my wife and I travel, we'll usually get a book on tape.
Nice, awesome.
And so, like we did, like Grow with the Dragon Tattoo, and that sort of thing is what we'll listen to while we're traveling in the truck.
Cool. And I got to ask you, though, do you have a favorite piece of gear under $100, outdoor gear?
It's old gear.
Okay.
So my favorite gear under $100 is
or most useful, or
So I am a huge fan of the old Coleman stoves.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I have a great relationship with Camp Chef. They've provided stoves for us for our cooking classes
great
over
guys,
the years.
Getting the team over there. Good guys.
Yes.
Yep.
But I still, if it's just Krista and myself, or it's just me, I've got an old 1970s Coleman stove.
Nice. Yeah.
It was a Coleman fuel, but I run it on gasoline.
Oh, okay.
And over the 10 years that we've been running it, I've only had one issue, and I got bad gas in Arizona.
Okay.
And it fouled up the burners, and it was as simple as dumping that gas in the truck and finding better gas,
some good gas, and
it cleaned up. But I bought that out of a garage sale for $5.
Nice. There you go, folks. Find yourself an old Coleman stove, you'll be good to go.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Ben. I know you got to run to another meeting.
Yeah,
Beau,
thank you.
I mean, sorry I keep calling you Ben.
No, you're good.
Beau, appreciate it. Good to see you again.
You too.
Hope you have a great show.
Yeah, as well.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Beau Johnston. You can find Beau on Facebook at Living Overland, their blog at livingoverland.com, and on Twitter at Beauverland. That's BEAUVERLAND. You can find links to all the info we discussed in the show notes at the outdoorbizpodcast.com/episode 025. I appreciate the support and feedback. Please be sure and share your favorite episodes on the socials. And until next time, thank you so much for listening. If you want more of the Outdoor Biz Podcast, you can subscribe on iTunes and Stitcher, or go to the outdoorbizpodcast.com, where you find all the episodes, show notes, and much, much more. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at the Outdoor Biz Podcast, Twitter at Rick_Saez, that's S-A-E-Z, and my email is rick@theoutdoorbizpodcast.com. Thanks for listening and all the support, and a huge shout out to all my guests, and until next time, be sure to make time to get outside.